On behalf of the World Humanist Forum that is being formed, the Asia region, we welcome you. I, Sudhir Gandotra, take this opportunity to formally welcome all of you here. There have been obvious questions. Some have reached us. Some are in your mind that what is this forum? Why are we forming the forum, etc. So I will give you a brief presentation, but let me tell you in less than a minute that forum is like an open space where we invite organizations who come and they present themselves to people and other organizations, and they invite everybody to work on the issues of common interest. So let's say there are 50 organizations present, out of which 6 are working on an environmental issues. Now imagine if they work together, the effect of their work would be multiple times. And same way on other issues. And we are not talking of merging, that I join your organizations, you join my, no. We work together as a stronger force, multiplying our effect. So all this is explained in this very brief video of a minute. Please have a look at it.
સંભવિત ત્યારે તારામાં બી મોકલાવવું છે સેમિનાર ઝૂમ કરવું હોય તો.
I'm sure you have some questions about this, and we will take these questions in a little while. I invite Ajit Menon to talk about how the whole thing started and how it comes from the movement, etc. Ajit, please come. Please unmute yourself and take the stage.
In a talk in 1969, Silo, who is the founder of the Humanist movement, he spoke in the mountains because he's from Argentina, and then there was a military regime in place, and so he was prevented from speaking in the city. But they said, you can address anything you want into the sticks and stones. So he held this meeting, or there was a harang actually, a speech. And a couple of hundred people traveled that distance to hear him speak. But so enthused were people there that they immediately decided to work on these ideas. So collecting and selling bottles, selling newspapers, they hired a garage and they started working with these ideas. From there, the movement, with the enthusiasm of its initial members, spread to different countries in the world and is now present in a little over 100 countries. The movement, which is made up of all sorts of people coming from different sectors of society, is based on these two pillars, like the forum, of non-violence and of non-discrimination. So it begs the question, who are humanists? What is their stand? What is their stance? Well, this was answered by Silo in the Humanist document, which he published in 1994. And I would like to share some passages from that document. It's a very strident call to people who want a change in the world, but they want a change which is non-violent. They want a change which is inclusive. They want a change which is universally appreciated and accepted. As I said, it's a very strident call. I hope I do justice to it. As I said, it was written in 1994, and so it was in the last millennia. So there's some reference to that latter part of the last millennia. We'll dive right into it. And he starts, I quote, "Humanists are women and men of this century, of this time. They recognize the achievements of humanism throughout history and find inspiration in the contributions of many cultures, not only those of today that occupy the center stage. They're also men and women who recognize that this century and this millennium are drawing to a close, and their project is a new world. Humanists feel that their history is very long and that their future will be even longer. As optimists who believe in freedom and social progress, they fix their gaze on the future while striving to overcome the general crisis of today. Humanists are internationalists, aspiring to a universal human nation. While understanding the world they live in, humanists act in their immediate surroundings. Humanists seek not a uniform world, but a world of multiplicity, diverse in ethnicity, languages, and customs, diverse in local and regional autonomy, diverse in areas and ideas and aspirations, diverse in beliefs, whether atheist or religious, diverse in occupations and in creativity. Humanists do not want masters. They have no fondness for authority figures or bosses, nor do they see themselves as representatives or bosses of anyone else. Humanists want neither a centralized state nor a parastate in its place. Humanists want neither a police state nor armed gangs as an alternative. But a wall has arisen between humanist aspirations and the realities of today's world. The time has come to tear down that wall. To do this, all humanists of the world must unite." Unquote. That's it, Sudhir.
Thank you, Ajit. You are reminding us of the history of how things were and how we are going ahead. Somebody will have questions on this, and we will take this part questions also later on. We are very lucky to have somebody with us who was with Silo on that day, 4th May 1969, when the whole dream started in the mountains of the border of Argentina and Chile that Ajit referred to. I'm talking about Antonio Cavello, who now lives in UK. He's with us here, and I invite him to tell us about the topic that we are discussing today. Antonio, please unmute yourself and take the stage.
Thank you, Sudhir, and good afternoon, good evening, everyone.
Hello.
I will be very brief to complement some of the explanations that Ajit just gave. I would like to say that the humanist movement is the practice of new humanism, or universalist humanism, as we call it as well. To new humanism, we humans are essentially historical and intentional beings, capable of learning from our experience and capable of transforming the natural or given conditions, capable of changing our own nature, including our body and the natural world around us, capable of changing the social world in which we are born. It's important to understand that because all the ideologies, prevailing in our different cultural systems, they exaggerate the vision that we really are almost nothing, that we are rational animals, we are called. There is a series of definitions of the human being with which we humanists, we do not agree. We consider the human being to be at the center of the social organization. We think that we have the capacity to transform nature, to transform civilization, to transform even ourselves. We have seen the developments of science and technology and the incredible things that before 20, 50, 60 years ago were not possible. I remember clearly when some Dr. Barnard in South Africa 30 years back replaced the first heart, removed the heart of a man and put another one. And the person with the new heart, I mean, managed to survive for some time. I mean, unfortunately, they didn't have drugs to control it, etc. And after a few hours, he died. But it shows how recent is this incredible effort to transform everything that was supposed to be a natural system, where we have to accept the conditions are given to us, given by the groups to hold and manipulate power. So obviously, from this conception derives our priority to act continuously to improve ourselves and society around us. That is why over the years, from the humanist movement, specialized organisms were created to give specific response to different areas of social action, political action, cultural action, educational action, grassroots communities development, end of wars, peace and disarmament. The world is changing very fast, and the movement also needs to accelerate and to adapt to the coming future, not adapting to the dying world. We have to see, when we talk of adaptation, we have to see what are we adapting to. We adapt to what is progressive, what is the future, not what is dying. And unfortunately, we live always in a world, especially the world that has been ruling us for so many years, that today, fortunately, is dying and disappearing. And so there is a new script that needs to be developed. And we want to have a say in that script. That is part of the idea of this forum, where we can all discuss and express our views of what is to come. We recognize strong determinisms affecting us as individuals, affecting our societies, our physical world. But we also feel strongly our possibility and capacity to change these, to transform and to humanize the world where we're living. We must visualize the society of the future. In which type of world do we want to live in? We cannot indulge in indiscriminate use of Earth's resources, contaminating and destroying the atmosphere that we need to survive. We cannot indulge in violence in all its kinds, impoverish and suppress large majorities of fellow human beings, to let accumulating all resources in the hands of a few. We cannot indulge in tolerating all these things, in letting them happen, not even proposing alternatives to that. As individuals, we cannot just indulge in remaining the same people we are, with the same habits of behavior, discriminating other human beings, being greedy, uncompassionate, selfish, and incoherent. The result of that indulgence is the world around us. We humanists believe that in times of crisis of civilization, as the present one, inaction means complicity with the status quo, the existing order, or should I better say, disorder. If we don't act to change this world, that means that we are accepting it and that we are accomplices. It's a bit dramatic, but it's real. In summary, this vision and understanding is what inspires us into action in different organisms or channels of expression of the humanist movement. And now you will hear from each one of them. Thank you. Thank you for your attention.
Friends, Antonio has referred to something called change. And sometimes we do not really accept the change, or we do not comprehend the change. So I'll give you just an example. In last 1.5 years, almost everybody who has to meet others, who has to conduct some activity is online. How many of us were online so frequently every day about a year ago? Maybe 1% of what they are today. Kids were not given phones. Today every kid is by force given a phone because they have to attend to a class or a computer. Same way, if we just imagine sometimes that how the human being was functioning before he had fire, no? And before he had a wheel, how things were working at that time. So we can understand what must be going on at that time. This change needs to be understood here in the head, felt in the heart, and in the action. The dream that started on 4th May 1969 when Silo gave his talk, first public talk in Argentina, Chile border, the place is called Punta de Vacas. That dream has developed, and now the humanist movement expresses itself through 5 different organizations and a message which is called Silo's message. And now I will invite one by one the organizations, starting from the community, which was the first one to be formed. So in that historical serial, I will invite our friends who will make the presentation. And I invite Viren and Chandrababu to say hello. And by the time I will have their video ready with me so that we can see the video.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. Hello,
Yes,
I am Chandra Babu from Kerala. I'm the member of the Community for Human Development. Okay.
So friends, here comes the video to you.
Good evening, friends. I'm Viren Shah, an active volunteer of the Community for Human Development from Mumbai, Bombay, India. The Community for Human Development is one of the organisms formed under the aegis of International Humanist Movement, initiated by the Argentinian thinker, philosopher, writer, and spiritual master, nicknamed as a Silo, from 1938 to 2010. The objectives of the community are the study, development of the human processes, which can encourage in spreading and installation of a new society, a new way of living, based on the fundamental ideas of the humanist attitude, which can be described as human interest always in the center, all human beings are equal, rejection of all forms of violence and the discrimination, freedom of ideas and the belief, respect for the personal and cultural diversity, and encouraging the knowledge, research beyond what is established as a truth. The methodology of action is always based on, of course, active non-violence, non-discrimination, simultaneous transformation of the self and the society, true voluntarism, solidarity, and the reciprocity. Also, we collaborate with other NGOs and network with them for joint action. Propose practical work of simultaneous self-development and the social development. Under the heading of self-development, we carry out meetings of the study, interchange, reflection, self-resolutions are held every week, every month, every quarter, with overnight occasional meeting of retreats for the deeper study. Under the heading of social development, we work broadly in the neighborhood environment as well as in the village, slums, tribal zones, with the oppressed, poor, in the field of education, health and quality of life. We also organize public seminars, exhibition of awareness, social campaigns, opinion polls, and also participate in the joint action. Besides that, also we publish the books on the humanist values. As far as the membership is concerned, anyone can become a member by participating, and it is open to all, as an individual as well as an institute, without any discrimination. course, provided endorsement of our fundamental ideas and humanist attitude and methodology of action. In synthesis, the Community for Human Development works for a new way of thinking, a new way of feeling, a new way of action, paving a path of a new way of living for the whole humanity.
So friends,
Thanks a lot.
that was Viren Shah, who participates in organizing the community as the organization in Bombay, and we have Chandra Babu in Kerala and many others. Viren spoke about.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
I'm Jagdish. Nanded.
जगदीश प्लीज
question?
म्यूट करिए अपना, अभी बाद में म्यूट करिए अपने आप को थोड़ा. So Viren spoke about study of human process for a new society and talking about the humanist attitude. Viren spoke that we do weekly meetings, we do monthly meetings, we do retreats, and we have activities with the people. So let's spend a little time raising questions that you may have, and I will invite Viren and Chandrababu to answer the questions, please. And feel free to ask questions in English, Hindi, Malayalam. Somebody will translate. No problem.
सर जी प्लीज जरा हिंदी ट्रांसलेट प्लीज हिंदी ट्रांसलेट.
हाँ, वही सारा प्रोग्राम हम लोग अभी हिंदी में नहीं ट्रांसलेट कर सकते. आप अपना सवाल करिए.
2 मिनट्स के बाद करो सर.
ठीक है.
हाँ सर.
Yes, anybody who wants to ask a question, please unmute yourself and ask the question.
Hello, this is Satyajit Samant here.
Yes, please.
I have been attending Viren sir's meeting regularly. My question to Viren sir is that there are a lot of organizations which are working on violent processes. So how do we reach to those organizations and overcome and help them to overcome their mental sufferings? Thank you.
Okay, Satyajit, answer to this is that first of all, that violent organizations practicing violence as one of the tool to achieve their means. If they are interested, then we can approach them, or otherwise also we can approach and talk to the higher people at the higher level. But if they have decided as their ideology that nothing will come, we have to snatch it away from the others, no? Then we can't help it actually. So we have to go to the people, those who are like-minded people and like-minded organizations to begin with. When our population increases, then it is become a moral force actually, and these people we can approach and we can tell them that look, this is not the right way, because as on today the violence is prevailing everywhere and all are victims of this violence, and people think that unless and until 2 slaps are not given, the person will not improve. So this kind of feeling is all around. So we are very little force in the world just now, but as we increase our population, then definitely the people will come to our rescue, and we rescue them with our knowledge of the self-knowledge and also knowledge in general also. So this is my short answer, because it's very difficult to change the person who is a violent, and for that we should be in a big number. If one person is holding a gun in his hand, then if you are alone or 2-3 people, you can overcome him. But if you have many more in numbers, it is possible to resist the violence. Okay.
Viren, I guess when you said the population, you meant the number of humanists.
Yes, I said the population right now, our present,
Our numbers.
the population of the world, we are not so many just now. We are in maybe millions, but the population of the world is too large. It's too large to give our energy to each and every person. Whereas we are interested in each and every person, he should be non-violent, and it should be useful to the society as a humanity. That's how we can create a new world, like what we said in the beginning, universal human nation. So this is answer is that means we have to come together. We are not only humanists as a formed by the CEO. That's why there is a forum is there. So along with the forum, we are many more in numbers. Then we can pressurize or we can put a pressure on the system to become a more non-violent. You have to join hands with the other like-minded people. And simultaneously, we have to grow also.
Aditya Kumar, you want to ask a question?
Yes, sir. I'm
Please go.
Aditya Kumar from Ahmedabad. I've been regularly attending Mumbai chapter with Mr. Biren Shah. My question is, normally people in this current age think humanist movement can't work. We cannot survive unless we become rough, rigid, then only we can sustain. So how to change the mindset of people with such a low volume or stake of humanist?
See, it is something like this. This humanist movement is like a snowballing effect, actually. When the avalanche starts, actually, from the mountain, it's a very small ball of ice. Okay. When it gathers the momentum, when it comes down, it becomes such a huge ball, actually, that it can destroy the villages and so many things. So like that also, we are like that. We are few in numbers, but to give the meaning to our life, we believe that we have to work. Someone has to work. The world cannot become totally inhuman. That's what even Gandhi also said. If you ask eye for eye, whole world will be blind. So we have to put efforts of so many ways in the medias, individually, meeting school, colleges, like-minded people, starting for colleges also. Now schools also. So we in the Community for Human Development, we started a program, Project Peace and Non-Violence, among the students. And we started approaching the principals. And then there is a big project. I can't explain in a short period, but it worked actually. People like it. The students like it. Even parents like it. The management of the school also like it. But if you are more in number, then we can approach everywhere. Now you are in Ahmedabad. So if you help me in Ahmedabad, then I don't mind coming along with you to the schools. We tell the
Right.
teacher, we start this, principal and management and all. It's possible.
Right, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So friends, with this, we can continue later on asking the questions more and more. We are all here. So now we will see the presentation of the second organization formed by us. Now, I would like to tell you that why these organizations were formed. The humanist movement is a movement with the aim of personal and social transformation. For social transformation, you have to go into different domains of the society. So first we formed a community to work in the social area, and then we found, as we went further, that politics decides everything. It just decides everything. What is going to be the price of your gas or fuel or the cigarette or food or whatever, irrespective of whatever may happen to market and other conditions, they are the ones who decide whether you can buy them or not, or at what price, whether you can go on the road or not, or what, and all that. The Humanist Party was formed because, as Silo said in this initial talk itself, that there is no political party in the world which can give answer to the crisis. So till the time the political situation, the political institutions manage the society, we need a political party which will transform the politics and bring about a better life. So here we have the Humanist Party. We have from Humanist Party with us Ashutosh and Miyappan. And I guess Shankar is also there. And while they will come forward to answer the questions, let me take you to the video of the Humanist Party.
of India. The Humanist Party is defined in its style and in the behavior of its activists completely different from any other party. People today have lost faith in politics. If they still contest, it is basically to get a job, to get part of the cake. If they still vote for traditional parties, it is because of the blackmailing of those parties towards the people. Traditional parties are becoming mere offices in which they count on paid employees. They appear before elections, many of them doing all kind of tricks and betrayals in order to disappear once again when they are voted. Their basic program is money. They move with money, give some money before elections, and once elected, they make some more money. The biggest mistake we would do as humanists would be to become like them and therefore drown with them. People may say that a party, in order to be heard, needs to be big from the beginning and needs to have money. But that's not true. If the politics wouldn't be affected by the current crisis, there wouldn't be a need for a new party. But there is a huge crisis in the political field, and there is an urgent need to act in this field. Humanism cannot limit itself to social activities alone, trying to improve the situation of people and individual human beings. And the need for a new party. The need for a new party in the Humanist Party of India arises. Thank you.
All our policies will keep the human being as a central value. From this follow the values of non-discrimination and non-violence. The path then is to restore real power to people, which is real democracy. True Swaraj is when every Indian is able to exercise their choice in all decisions that matter. People will decide policies and programs. Our three main goals: health, physical, mental, and social well-being, which does not only consist of an absence of disease or illness, but instead cares for the sound health of the individual. Free access to all types of health care, primary, secondary, and specialty. Education, free access to gain knowledge, develop humanist value base, and continue lifelong education of one's choice. And quality of life, nobody will suffer from insecurity related to food, shelter, and income. We will end discrimination related to religion, age, gender, income, community, language, etc. Our political program is to bring real democracy. We would introduce a right to recall the elected representatives in case they do not fulfill their electoral promises. All electoral promises made by political parties would be legally binding and hence justiciable. More and more legislative decisions would be taken by referendum among people using the advances in IC technologies.
Well, friends, while we may like to ask questions, I have one more presentation of the Humanist Party that I would like to share with you. It's a brief one.
नमस्ते। ह्यूमनिस्ट पार्टी बनने का क्या उद्देश्य है और उसका कारण क्या है, इसके बारे में बोलना चाहता हूँ। पूरे वर्ल्ड में 3 सिस्टम काम कर रही है। एक तो सोशल है, तीसरा रिलीजन है, तीसरा पॉलिटिकल है। ये तीनों सिस्टम ने कहीं भी मानव को केंद्र में नहीं रखा गया है। अगर मानव को केंद्र में रखते हैं तो दुनिया की हर समस्या सॉल्व हो सकता है। इसलिए ह्यूमनिस्ट पार्टी बना है। ह्यूमनिस्ट पार्टी का फर्स्ट मुख्य ध्येय है प्लेसिंग द ह्यूमन बीइंग द सेंट्रल वैल्यू, मानव को केंद्र में रखना। नंबर सेकेंड, विदाउट एनी डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, एक्टिव नॉन वायलेंस एंड सेल्फलेस वर्क करना। दूसरी बात है सबको हेल्थ, एजुकेशन एंड क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ मिलना चाहिए। इसके लिए ह्यूमनिस्ट पार्टी बहुत एक्टिव काम करती है। और सबसे मुख्य है इसमें ट्रांसपेरेंसी होना चाहिए, पारदर्शिता, वो किसी में भी नहीं है ये ह्यूमनिस्ट पार्टी में। और दूसरा एक गोल्डन रूल है, ट्रीट अदर्स एज यू वुड हैव देम ट्रीट यू। दूसरों के साथ ऐसा व्यवहार करो जैसा व्यवहार की अपेक्षा आप उनसे चाहते हैं। अगर आज 800 करोड़ लोगों के अंदर सभी लोग अगर ये प्रिंसिपल को इस्तेमाल करेंगे, दुनिया में वायलेंस नहीं होगा, सभी को सब कुछ मिल सकता है। आज बहुत विकास हुआ है। सिर्फ ह्यूमनिस्ट पार्टी एक ही पार्टी है, जनहित का पार्टी है। ये पार्टी के कारण बदलाव आ सकता है। और दोस्तों, शांति, शक्ति, आनंद सबको मिले, इसके लिए अगर हम काम करना है, और हेल्थ, एजुकेशन एंड क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ सबको मिलना है, वो अमीर हो या गरीब। इसलिए ह्यूमनिस्ट पार्टी पूरा ध्यान दे रही है। इसके अंदर एक मुख्य है, लीडर, बॉस, मास्टर बनने का लालच नहीं रहता है। पूरा विश्व में जनहित का पार्टी तो एक ही पार्टी, ह्यूमनिस्ट पार्टी। और ह्यूमनिस्ट पार्टी शांति, शक्ति और आनंद सबको मिले, पीस, फोर्स एंड जॉय गेट एवरीवन। थैंक यू।
So friends, you see, we are talking of politics with very different kind of people. They are not the traditional politics. They don't come and say, I will give you this, I will give you that. They are inviting you, on the other hand, to come and participate in politics to build a better world. They are talking of health, education, and quality of life for all. They're talking of human being as the central value and not the state, money, religion, and other things. I'm sure you have some questions, and we have our friends here to answer them. We'll spend the next 5 minutes in these question answers. Please, whoever wants to ask a question, unmute yourself and ask the question. And you are, as always, you are welcome to ask the question in English, Hindi, or Malayalam, the languages which are being represented here.
Hello, dear friends. I am Babu Gurula from Kerala, India. Actually, all these problems we face, all problems like this discrimination, poverty, or injustice, or violence, or anything, all the problems are based on this economy. Economy means wealth and its distribution and enjoyments, or money. All these problems are based on this wealth, money, sources, real natural resources. This distribution is not properly done. That is why all these problems are raising. But I have a very good suggestion that already there is in the net, www.arthakranti.org. That is a site. There, Arthakranti is an economic regeneration, give justice to all, chances to all.
Mr. Babu, excuse me. Can you ask your question instead of giving a long lecture? Please don't mind. We have just about 5 minutes, and there are others who may want to ask a question. Please raise your question.
I think this our movement is based on this economic principles. What principles? Because there is socialism, capitalism, but we have to based on some principles.
So I'll invite Ashutosh to reply to this question, that what is the economic principle of Humanist Party?
Okay. That is enough.
The economic principle of the Humanist Party is to end the income and wealth inequality which is there in the country. But this can be done only when a humanist government comes to power. So the main obstacle in this process is that we do not keep the human being in the center. If we keep wealth and income at the center, then we will say that that 1% of the people are today able to earn nearly 30% of the income, and they control nearly 70% of the wealth. And why are they allowed to keep this? Because the other 90% of the people believe that they are helpless. Now that has to be changed, and you are not helpless. The real power is with you, and that is the realization which we have to bring to the people at large. Then only the real democracy will take place. And once that real democracy comes, then people will take the decision as to how the income is to be redistributed. So that is our stand as Humanist Party.
But I guess basically you are talking of cooperative system as the economic system of the Humanist Party. Anyway, any other question on the Humanist Party? Okay, friends, let's move on to the next presentation, which is by our other organism, which is called World Center of Humanist Studies. Friends, some of you are already in at least one of these organizations, and some of you may like to join them. You're most welcome. At the end of it, we will give you the addresses where to connect and all that, and you're welcome to join any of the organizations. So I have with me Baiju and Parimal, who are from the World Center of Humanist Studies, who will be answering your questions. And here we have the video.
Hello, I am Parimal Merchant. I live in Mumbai and have been participating in humanist movement for last 40 years. Presently, I am participating in the organism World Center for Humanist Studies.
Okay, friends. So here we are. We have Parimal Merchant and Baiju Chalat with us to answer to your questions for the next 5 to 7 minutes. Please unmute your mic and ask your question. Anyone who likes to ask a question.
Hello. Hello, sir.
Yes, Vasudevan, please go ahead.
Sir, the fate of our world is depending on the character of the people. How can we change the attitude and moods of the people, of the public? When we can create a balanced civilization and a perfect lifestyle, then only we can eradicate the evil force war. What is the remedy?
Parimal, Baiju.
Question is not very clear.
Vasudevan, can you please clarify your question? Vasudevan, can you please clarify your question? Okay, anybody else has a question in the meanwhile?
Yeah, if you can give some idea about the work that you all are doing.
See, the objective of the World Center for Humanist Studies is to promote understanding of humanist attitude. The whole idea is to reach out to as many people as possible, organize seminars, training programs, educational programs to debate and discuss about humanist attitude. So far, what work has been done, as has been explained in the presentation, is about running competitions among thousands of schools all over the country. So in these competitions, by now around 50,000 students have participated, preparing their own thinking and expression on the various topics that has been explained in the presentation before. So the whole idea is that when a school-going student prepares a presentation, they discuss with the parents, they prepare a skit and it goes on YouTube and it is viewed by a large number of people. So on the whole, discussion and reflection is being encouraged on this concept like violence and diversity and non-discrimination, so that more and more people become aware that as much as we are concerned about fashionable product, these are the things which are core of our life and we can understand it better.
Okay, good evening all. I would like to ask one question. What are the mechanisms for imparting the education of humanists? And then under this universal concept of humanism, we are very happy, and you have been doing some training program, then you have said right now. So what I would like to ask you that what types of institution you have been established for imparting this education of humanism?
Baiju can explain about the training program done in Kerala about zero violence mindset.
And then is it where is the head office or headquarter of this study center?
Just now, we have a national coordination team, and actually we are all decentralized organization. There is nothing like a head office. We all work together, come together and interact. I'm Parimal Merchant based in Bombay. We have other members in other part of India, and we collaborate and coordinate the program.
Okay, thank you.
Moreover, there is a world coordination team, and the world coordination team consists of members from different countries. Consist a world coordination team. They are conducting symposiums, seminars at international level. And basically, this World Center for Humanist Studies, they are conducting research and study activities. And apart from research and study, they are doing training programs for colleges and schools.
Okay, it will be sponsored by the coordinating committee, or it is on resources which have been mobilized by the local organizers?
Actually, there is no sponsor for this. Actually, the mechanism or way of working of each organism of humanist, it is autonomous and voluntarily way, and the bottom line of the organism is called base council, that is at grassroots, and all the organisms, they are conducting internal election. Out of the internal election, they are electing national coordination team and international coordination team members.
Okay,
And
is
all the base council activity is for each program. They are making the budget and contribution from their own neighborhood, not
then
accepting contribution from sponsors like big corporates or companies.
okay, this is the last question. Is there any teaching or learning materials for providing to the trainee? Is there any
Yes.
booklets?
We actually conducted two programs. One is zero violence mindset, and the other is a training program for peace students. The zero mindset program, it conducted 6 months program, and the other is peace campus program. It was conducted for 1 year for college students.
This is all
for selected
certificate program.
college students, and we have a certificate. The second one was the certificate program. First one was a course. Particularly, we have a training manual and syllabus made for the training. According to the syllabus, we conducted the training, personal development program, along with their career development.
Okay, thank you for your good answer.
Any other questions before we move on to the next one? Okay. Friends, before we move to the next presentation, I would like to butt in and say a couple of things. Number one, all the humanist organizations, they work at grassroots levels, and they do not raise money as membership, donations, and all that as the primary thing. Let's say you form a group of any of the organization in your area, and you are 10 people, and you want to print some leaflets or do some activity which involves some expenses. You will do it among your friends, yourself, and finish the money there. We are not building infrastructure, finances, and all that, because that's not our aim. Our very focused, clear aim is transformation of oneself and transformation of the society. The second very important thing is that for this self-transformation and understanding of the whole thing for social transformation, we have plenty of materials, books, etc., on ideology, on doctrine, and how to change oneself. Very soon, you will see all this material appearing on the forum website. One of the purposes of this forum is to collect all the materials and all the things and to make them available centrally. You will already see all the books of these written by Silo. They are available for free download on the website. And like this, you will see a lot. And in coming days, probably once we launch this website in the first week of August, maybe in a few weeks' time, you will have various trainings. So let's say then World Center of Humanist Studies might give you a training on real democracy, on why poverty, why this and why that. Humanist Party would talk of how the new way of politics can be understood and implemented starting from oneself and going into others. Same for the social and cultural and other areas. You will see all that very soon happening there. And with that, now let's move on to our next organization, which is Convergence of Culture, which brings cultures together. So we say that different cultures, humanism says that different cultures need to exist and they are fine, they are human expressions. They need not be competitors, they need not be fighting, but rather they can be complementing each other. They can give different viewpoints. You have a garden and you have one type of flowers. They may be beautiful flowers, but if they're all one type, one color, you will get bored very soon. Imagine if you have a garden with 100 different types of flowers. You will love them, you will see them, different ones coming up and going down at different time. Same about the culture. So we'll start with a presentation And then we have our two friends, Dayanand and Lakshmanan, who will answer your questions.
Dear friends, accept my greetings. I am trying to give you a brief introduction to Convergence of Culture. The members of Convergence of Cultures are working for building strong bondages between different cultures, promoting diversity in different fields of humanity. Cultures have clashed many times because of fears of attacks of one on another. We believe that the cultures can exist mutually, learning from each other and strengthening each other. Instead of being enemies or competitors, cultures can easily complement each other. In general terms, Convergence of Culture proposes to facilitate and stimulate dialogues between different cultures to fight against discrimination and violence and to bring its proposal to all latitudes. Convergence of Culture proposes to promote a relationship between different cultures, to denounce and struggle against all kinds of overt or covert discrimination, to disseminate its ideas and activities. It recognizes personal, cultural, and cultural diversity and so affirms the characteristics proper to each people, condemning all discrimination that is done on the basis of economic, racial, ethnic, and cultural differences. The Convergence of Culture is an organization with an international character, but its members are free to act independently in their respective places. Think globally and act locally is our way of working. Methodology of action is action on non-violence. Participation is open to any person without a discrimination. Any person who coincides with the aspects of basic objectives of Convergence of Culture may be integrated into the organization. The members of base teams are responsible for what they promote and build. Base teams will develop by carrying out activities in neighborhoods, schools, universities, then workplaces through internet, etc. In the base team, there are two types of members, full members and collaborators. Full members are responsible for conducting activities and campaigns and developing the organism. Collaborators are those who are in touch with us and participate occasionally in our activities. When there are 10 base teams in a country, the coordinators of these teams will form a promotion team, which calls election to choose the first national team. A national coordinator will be elected through election, direct vote by the full members of the organism in the country every 2 years. Worldwide coordination is the responsibility of the world team elected through direct vote by the full members of the organism around the world every 2 years. Cultural Harmony campaign is our campaigns in this lane. Thank you all.
So friends, that was a brief introduction to the Convergence of Culture. That is a humanist organization working on the principles of humanism, bringing different cultures together. In the brief time, as you will understand, not much can be said about everything, and unfortunately, we cannot have long discussions. But be prepared, very soon you will be invited to longer discussions by different organizations. I have a request. Since we did not do any registration, please go to the chat box and write your name, your telephone number, and your email ID, if you don't mind. We will use that to send you the brief about this event, its recording, and information about the different organisms, so that you may like to explore them more, you may like to join them, you may like to ask questions, you may like to meet those people and all that. So please take a moment at any time, and in the chat box, write your name, your email ID, and your cell phone number. Thank you very much. And now I invite our friends Dayanand and Lakshmanan to answer your questions. And I invite all of you to ask any question that you would like to ask about Convergence of Cultures. Thank you. Please unmute your mic and ask your question. It is nice if you keep your videos on, because somebody is taking pictures, so you will appear in the pictures. Otherwise, it's only the name. You can keep yourself muted, but the videos can be on. Thank you.
Lakshmanan, my signal is quite unstable. So you try to answer. I am also there. Okay.
Yeah, if nobody is asking question, then you can ask the question and Lakshmanan can answer.
Okay, then you can move to the other one.
Okay. And we have another organization which is working for peace, which is working against wars, which is working against violence. And the name goes World Without Wars and Violence. And we have with us Pradeepan and Nailesh to answer your questions. And before that, I will start the video.
My dear friends, World Without War and Violence is an international non-violent social organization which was formed by Humanist movement in 1995. Now our organization is working in 44 countries. Friends, we live in a society of war and violence. The violence is same inside and outside of the human being. Our main objective of the World Without War is to eliminate all kinds of wars and violence and create a non-violent culture on our planet Earth. For this, we need to change the level of consciousness. So, our international and regional campaigns have done with this idea inside our mind. We have organized 2 World March. The one is the 2009, 10 years after again 2019. These 2 World March, traveling through different cities, countries and continents and spread the message of peace and non-violence. As a result of this, we have honored by UN. In addition, UN has passed the resolution signed by the 53 countries and declared all nuclear weapons are illegal. This is a dynamic and inspiring moment for us. In fact, this is the milestone in our human history. Again, degree level and PG level non-violent courses have now been introduced by more than 100 universities in different countries. These achievements is the result of continuous and sustainable work of our organization at the international and regional level. Regarding our organizational status, organizational matter, World Coordination Team and a national team and a base team which is working in grassroots is an inevitable part of our organizational structure. Let me closing my talks by saying one word. 5 years after the second World March, World Without War announced the third World March, which is in October 2nd, 2024. So I urged to all you present here to line up for this march, and it will be in a universal festival of non-violence, which is never seen in our history before. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pradeepan, for that presentation. And see, imagine, friends, the billions of dollars which are spent in the war machine every year, if there are no wars, all that money would be available for human development, would go into education, would go into health and quality of life of people. If there are no wars, there would be no borders. You could go just anywhere, do your stay, your job, your business anywhere in the world as world citizens, which is what the humanists are aiming at. Please unmute your mic and ask your questions. And we have with us our friends Nailesh and Pradeepan to answer your questions.
Hello. Hi. Hi, everybody.
We can hear you. Please, please.
Sherwin, we can't hear you. Please be a little loud.
Hello. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, now it's better.
Yeah. No, just a short question. The very interesting world map. Just, uh, just the logistics. How we can going to work. How to do the logistics. This very interesting activity. In starting time for the third time. October. Just to know the logistics part of it.
Sherwin, your voice is breaking. Can you please write your question in the chat? I will read it for you. In the meanwhile, somebody else can ask a question. Sherwin, please type it. Please type your question. Please don't mind because your voice is breaking. You have an interesting question, something to do with the logistics of working together. Yeah, please. In the meanwhile, somebody else can ask a question.
Yeah, same question. How do you all coordinate?
You are on mute, Krishnaraj.
No, the same question was how do you all coordinate staying away? I mean, there's a new thing that has come, so it's getting more difficult, and obviously logistics.
Pradeep, would you like to answer?
Please answer because I can't hear question. Please.
Okay. So I will explain to you when the first World March took place. We made a team of 100 people who traveled from New Zealand on 2nd of October, traveling 160,000 kilometers to different countries and different cities in the world, and ending the march in 3 months in Argentina. Now, basically, there was a team which was made of 100 people, a team of 100 people that is called base team. And then they travel, and wherever they go, locally people organize, they stay, they organize programs, wherein this World March team is welcome. And there are cultural, there are historical, spiritual programs are being conducted. So then, there is a lot of enthusiasm, So first World March, there were more than, 2,000, 3,000 celebrities, who endorsed the World March. And there were concerts, there were football matches, there were, musical programs. And then, they were locally, in India, when the World March came, we involved students of Mumbai University, wherein 15,000 students marched within Mumbai and organized and welcome World March. So like that, everywhere the local people take the responsibility, the base teams, in each countries or each cities, they take responsibility of this, and the World March people travel. And this is how, we express, the views, we, make people aware about what is our message. And this is how I tell you that within 10 years of efforts, there was a resolution that was passed in UNO against the nuclear arms. So this was the method, through which we organized this World March for Peace and Nonviolence.
Sherwin, I have your question here, but do you think the answer is already there? You have asked just to learn how we can work out the logistics for the Great Third World March in October. Many thanks. I suppose the answer is there, no?
Similarly, in the second World March, there was a collaboration with the Jai Jagat, that is Ekta Parishad in Mumbai. So one team of 100 volunteers from Jai Jagat, they started walking. They made a team and they wanted to walk 6,000 kilometers from Delhi to Geneva on the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, 150th birth anniversary. So they traveled 100 kilometers, through India, and then because of this pandemic and all these issues, they had to abandon this walking march. But they were in collaboration. So from here, one team went to different places, wherein in all the schools, colleges, and universities, we organized this peace symbol, from the students of the schools and colleges. So like that, thousands of schools and colleges from all over the world, they organized this peace symbol. And in that peace symbol, they sang together, they danced together, they walked together, they organized things, through college students, and teachers and professors and all that. And this is how the message of World March for Peace and Non-Violence is spread.
Any other questions about world without wars and violence? Okay, we can always come back for more questions. Somebody wanted to ask a question, please?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, Sarojit.
Hello, Mr. Sudhir and everyone. Thank you for giving me this platform. So I'm from Awaken India movement. Okay, and what I'm going to say will sound very unreal. Okay, and I will just not waste anyone's time. So we feel that the lockdowns are not required. Okay, and that those vaccines, they should not be made mandatory. Okay, which they're slowly making it. So, like, anyone here or you, sir, have any point of view on this? Because, this has been going on systematically, and that's how they're destroying the economy. And those, I can give you several proofs of it. Okay, maybe later in person or in private, valid proofs. Okay, those vaccines are absolutely bad. Okay, so basically, what they want to do is create what you call a technocracy, a total control, surveillance. So, this is what I feel and we feel. So
Sarojit,
I hope it was not, just once again, I just hope it was not too off topic. So yeah.
No, your topic is very important, and it concerns us. And Awaken India movement is doing wonderful job, saving many people in many ways, and also helping democracy to grow. There is no doubt about it. But today's points are slightly different. And let us discuss this question in lot more details later on. And we look forward to working together with you on this forum. And you're welcome to be part of the forum.
Thank you. And I would like to thank Mr. Shankar for giving me this opportunity.
You're welcome. Please write your name, telephone number, and email ID in the chat box. So we'll be in contact and we'll be able to send you more information. And please do join us as the organization on the forum. There are no money involved. We're not charging anything for this. This is a forum, a platform, an open platform available to everyone. So with this, let us move on to the next presentation, which is on Silo's message. Silo's message, okay, let me not tell you what it is because the presentation says so. So let me share the presentation, and then we will have, we have Ajit here, and we have Antonio and myself to answer the questions.
Silo's message was given for the first time in 1969 in the Andes Mountains in Argentina. Silo was prohibited to speak in the cities by the military dictatorship in power at the time. So he went to the mountains. There in the snow, surrounded by mounted armed soldiers, he spoke to about 200 people who have congregated to listen to his word. Silo was 30 at the time. I had the privilege of being there. Since then, my life changed course. His message talks about suffering and the way to heal it. Explains that the most important knowledge in life is to comprehend and surpass suffering. It is important to distinguish between physical pain and mental suffering. One suffers through three pathways: perception, memory, and imagination. Suffering reveals a state of internal violence. Internal violence is connected to fear. Fear to lose what we have already lost, and what we despair to reach. We suffer because of what we don't have, or because of fear in general. Fear of sickness, fear of poverty, fear of loneliness, and of death. Human beings, through inner meditation, can reorient their lives, recognize suffering, understand suffering, and overcome suffering. Suffering creates violence in our mind, spurred by desire, but violence does not stay there, spreads out into the world around us, contaminating our society and bringing misery and death all around. His message explains that there are several types of violence, not just physical violence, but also economic violence, religious violence, racial violence, gender violence, moral and psychological violence. Only faith and inner meditation can end violence in us and others, and in the world around us. Our world is in serious trouble. Environmental crisis, pandemic, rampant violence and injustice in all its forms. To disseminate the message is therefore particularly urgent. We must begin our quest to overcome violence and suffering now, within us, and also helping others around us and in society at large. This can only be achieved together and starting from now. We want to invite you to a big forum to discuss on ways to do this. Our main moral guide is treat others as you like to be treated. Our goal is to humanize the earth. The full text of Silo's message can be found on our webpage. Thank you.
So friends, here we are, the message that is meant to transform ourselves and our world with very simple and of course deeper exercises, work to be done with oneself and work to be done with others. So let's spend the next 4 minutes that we have of the scheduled time for questions and answers on Silo's message. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. And we have Antonio, Ajit, and if required, myself to answer the questions.
Good evening, everybody.
Yes, good evening, Sanjay. Please go ahead.
मैं पहली बार ज्वाइन हुआ इस मीटिंग में। सर्वसामान्य लोग क्या कर सकते हैं इसमें जुड़ने के लिए और क्या एक्टिविटी कर सकते हैं?
I have joined for the first time, and my question is, what can the common people do in this message activities? Antonio, maybe you can answer the question and I will translate in Hindi.
Thank you for the question, Sanjay. The message is precisely for the common people.
ये संदेश साधारण लोगों के लिए है.
You are spot on. We don't need any qualifications because it talks and it refers the message to the existential experience of every human being. That means
ये संदेश जो है, आप एकदम सही सवाल कर रहे हैं. ये संदेश जो है वो हमारे जो रोजमर्रा के जीवन के अनुभव हैं उनके साथ जुड़ा हुआ है. Yes, please.
The experience that we have in the bottom of our hearts and in our minds for the fact of existing, that is extraordinary. All of us, we have very profound experiences, and we have the possibility of connecting with the most sacred that exists in the bottom of our minds and our hearts.
जो हमारे अनुभव हमारे दिमाग मन में होते हैं, हमारे दिल में होते हैं, हमारे साथ रोज होते हैं, उनके साथ जुड़ा हुआ ये संदेश है। और हम लोग किस तरह अपने अंदर अपनी गहराइयों में जो सबसे पवित्र चीज है उसके साथ किस तरह जुड़ें और वहां से हमें हमारे सवालों के जवाब मिले, इसके ऊपर हम काम करते हैं।
And you will have greater information about this in a book that is called Humanize the Earth.
इस बारे में आपको बहुत सारे विस्तार से जवाब मिलेंगे सिलो की एक किताब में जिसका नाम पृथ्वी का मानवीयकरण है।
And this book is divided into 3 sections, and the main one is Look Within.
इसके अंदर 3 किताबें हैं और उसकी जो पहली जो मुख्य किताब है उसका नाम लुक विदिन है।
And there Silo, the founder, tells what was his experience, how he discovered all this teaching that he had developed in the body of doctrine over so many years. It was discovered by himself through meditation.
उसमें सिलो बताते हैं कि किस तरह ध्यान लगाकर उन्होंने ये सब चीजें सीखी और समझी और जिसको वो बाद में उन्होंने दूसरों तक पहुंचाया और उसका पूरा रास्ता तरीका उन्होंने उसमें बताया।
And he explains it how to do it. So I recommend you to read that, and you will find precisely a very deep connection with your own experience.
उसमें वो बताते हैं कि ये सब अनुभव कैसे, इन अनुभवों तक कैसे पहुंचा जाए, और मेरी आपको सलाह है कि आप उस किताब को पढ़ें ताकि आप अपने अंदर की गहराइयों के साथ जुड़ने का रास्ता पा सकें। Well, any other question? कोई और सवाल? संजय बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, आपने बड़ा सटीक सवाल किया।
सुधीर जी, मैं एक सवाल पूछना चाहता हूँ।
You can ask in English straight.
Yeah, Antonio, you said that your life changed after listening to that speech of 4th May 1969. Would you tell us a little more about how it changed?
ये बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट महत्वपूर्ण सवाल है, इसलिए मैं इसका अनुवाद करता हूँ। आशुतोष पूछ रहे हैं एंटोनियो से कि आपने कहा कि 4 मई 1969 को जब आपने सिलो को सुना, जब वो पहली बार उन्होंने पब्लिक व्याख्यान दिया, तो आपने कहा कि आपका जीवन बदल गया। ये कैसे बदला, हमें जरा बताइए।
I was finishing my law career. I had spent 5 years in university, and I used to work with lawyers there in Santiago, in Chile.
मैं चिली में था, चिली जो देश है वहाँ उसकी राजधानी सैंटियागो में था। 5 साल मैंने वकालत की पढ़ाई पढ़ी और मैं वकीलों के साथ काम कर रहा था।
I had come to the conclusion in my own experience that I didn't want to be a lawyer. I could imagine myself in the years to come, and I thought that is not for me.
मेरे को समझ आ गया था उस समय थोड़ा काम करने के बाद कि मुझे वकील नहीं बनना है।
And when I heard Silo pronouncing that speech and explaining so clearly what were the main concerns of the human being, even if we don't know it, and how important was to free yourself from suffering.
उसमें जब सिलो ने हमें बताया कि हमारे जीवन के मुख्य मुद्दे क्या हैं और अपने आप को दुखों से कैसे निवारण पाया जाए, तो मुझे महसूस हुआ, yes please.
I thought to myself, well, I mean, being a lawyer and perhaps making lots of money will not make me rid myself from suffering. All the contrary, probably will create even more suffering.
मुझे महसूस हुआ कि एक वकील बन जाने और बहुत सारा पैसा कमाने के बाद जरूरी नहीं है कि मेरे दुख खत्म हो जाए, लेकिन ये हो सकता है कि दुख बढ़ जाए।
Because I had the experience of all the people I worked with, and so I could see themselves as looking at myself in the mirror. So
क्योंकि मैं जिन लोगों के साथ काम कर रहा था जो थे उस समय वकील, मैं उनके जीवन को देख के मैं सोचता था कि वो जीवन मुझे नहीं चाहिए, वहां तक मुझे नहीं पहुंचना है, क्योंकि वहां केवल दुख है।
So I decided to join Silo to learn what he had to explain. That, of course, is the body of doctrine requires time and dedication, and to collaborate with the project. And since then, I never looked back.
तो मैंने उस समय निश्चय लिया कि मैं सिलो के साथ जुड़ के इस बात को सीखूंगा और इसकी प्रैक्टिस करूंगा, और उसके बाद मैंने जीवन में कभी पीछे मुड़ के नहीं देखा.
Thank you for the question, Ashutosh.
Did you finally become a lawyer or not?
No.
Oh, मैंने पूछा finally आप वकील बने कि नहीं? उन्होंने कहा नहीं.
My
But you became lawyer
my
of the
parents
Humanist.
were very sad, but I was very happy.
मेरे माँ बाप दुखी थे इस बात से, लेकिन मैं खुश था.
Adding to the discussions, since lawyers are being discussed, I just wanted to add, also answering our friend from Awaken India. We were planning a petition here in Madurai High Court regarding this.
Mayappan, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have to interrupt you. We have already crossed our time, so we have to talk a little on one subject more. So let's stick to the question. We have all the people with us, and we'll have such forums very frequently, very soon, on various topics. And I think in one of the meetings we can call Awaken India movement.
Sudhir, I would have just completed my sentence.
No, please raise your question to the point. Please don't mind. Mayappan, you are too close to me. I can talk to
my
you
sentence
directly.
even before you had, interrupted with such a long interruption. I said we were going to have a petition regarding, the vaccination being made compulsory, and unfortunately, certain judges were making it compulsory among the PAs and drivers. Anyways, thank you.
Okay, friends, we come to the close of the meeting. First of all, I would like to thank the Truth and Reconciliation platform that gave us this opportunity to do this meet. We are really thankful to them, and they are also a voluntary organization, and we will send you their web page. You may like to connect and see more of their programs. You may like to help them move forward, and consider them as your friends. They're very nice people, and they are conducting this whole thing free of cost. It was organized by them. We, the speakers, and you, the listeners, all are guests here. It is they who did all the logistics and everything. We are thankful to them from our heart, and we are thankful to each one of you. Each one of you, part of the team, including myself, and those who are not the team, who are with us here today. And let me tell you that the formal launch of this forum will happen in the first week of August. The website is there. You're welcome to create your login. You're welcome to join as an organization, as an individual, start building your page. But a lot of more facilities that will come on this page will take another couple of weeks. But you are welcome to join there. You have given your email ID and phone number in the chat. You will receive today night a mail with all these details, and you will see a lot more details about the humanist organizations which are mentioned there. And you're most welcome to join any of them. It's all voluntary. Nobody is asking for money. Any organization joining the forum, building their page, doing their activities. We don't ask them to come and join the humanist movement and do our activities. They should continue doing their activities, and they will get all the facilities. This very ambitious project that we have is going to be like a Facebook of the organizations. So you will have your page, you will have your materials, you will have your videos, audios, training, everything you can conduct from here. Really, our aim is that you will not need a website. You will have everything here, and you will do it. And this comes without money, without any obligation. We do not even expect you to say even a thank you. It's not for that. This is our selfless action as humanists to bring people together on a common platform and see how we can work together. We don't have to merge our identities, not at all. You work as you are, we work as we are, and we work together, saving our beautiful world and building it into a much better world. Just think, when you go back from this meeting, the difference of the human being before he had wheel and the difference of the human being after he had wheel, for example. Today, a wheel is something we don't even think about. But imagine a world which had no wheel. Imagine a world which had no fire. What was the human being thinking at that time? And closer home, imagine yourself 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and now most of your time is spent online. And at that time, many of us, even today, were not using even emails. Forget about WhatsApp and all that. But today, everyone, kids, old, everyone is using one thing or the other. Things have changed and things are changing very fast. Something that was taking 50 years to change is changing now in maybe 50 minutes. What was the world without the cell phone? We all have seen it before 98, 97 in India. And what it is now is totally different. So these are the things that we are trying to do. And you're most welcome to be with us. Let me show you for in just 1 minute one of the sites that you will see on this forum, which is Silo's message. This is how it looks like. And any of you who become a member here will get a page like this. Put your photograph, put your activities, and all the details that you want to show to the world about yourself. My mouse is misbehaving, so I'm not able to go down in this, but you will find all kinds of things where you can put your material and your things there. So please feel free. Oh yes, it is working now. So here we have some brief exercises. This 1 minute meditation, which is given here in English, Hindi, and Malayalam, could change your life in few days or maybe one day. You have all the books. Think about who is guiding. Like this, you'll find a lot here. And all the organizations to whom you have heard, they have a page there. We have the basics, and in coming days, you will have a lot more details, and you can join them, the one you like, you can work with them. And same way, the organizations which are present here, once again, you are most welcome to create your page. Is absolutely free, no obligations. And once again, thank you very much to each one of you who spent the last 1.5 hours to be with us. It's a great pleasure. It's a sense of achievement for us that with very little time, we could do all this. Big thanks to Baiju and the web team that worked to create all this. Thank you very much, friends.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sudhir. Thank you to all.
Peaceful
Thank
Satyajit
you.
Enjoy to all.
Thank you.
to all.
Very much fun.